The Paris Air Show has just begun, and the defense community is already abuzz, but not for a celebrity selfie or a stunning aircraft carrier reveal. Instead, a single image has gone viral: a Pakistani pilot, helmeted and in a flight suit, sitting in the cockpit of a Chinese J-35A stealth fighter, giving a thumbs up. Yes, the legendary 5th-generation stealth fighter. The accompanying caption had only 9 words: Beer's review. Everyone who's used it says it's good. This isn't a staged photo op, but a real-time military cooperation spoiler. At first glance, you might think it's just an interactive display at an air show. But if you're even slightly familiar with military protocol, you'd know that someone sitting in a J-35 cockpit in a standard flight suit is no mere visitor. This Pakistani pilot isn't there for tourism. Upon returning home, he will become a seat instructor for the Pakistan Air Force's J-35 fighter fleet, training other Pakistani pilots and establishing Pakistan's own stealth fighter pilot training system. According to external sources, Pakistani media revealed in 2020 that the Pakistan Air Force had sent pilots to China to test fly the J-35A fighter. It's believed that Pakistan's elite pilots were sent to China to test fly and evaluate the J-35A stealth fighter, then discuss potential purchases based on the test results. This is standard practice in the international arms market. Fighter jets are highly sophisticated and confidential weapons. Therefore, countries promoting their fighter jets won't reveal too much information upfront. Customers who need deeper understanding require actual test flights. However, back then, the news was ambiguous. It wasn't until this image was exposed that the rumors were confirmed. This is no longer a question of whether Pakistan will buy, but how many. On June 5th, a senior Pakistani government official announced through the media that Pakistan has acquired J-35 fighters from China, with the total number ranging between 30 and 40 aircraft. According to official disclosures, the fighter jets will arrive in Pakistan within a few months for adaptive training. From these brief statements, we can extract several key pieces of information. First, the J-35's performance is stable enough, having undergone rigorous testing, meeting Pakistan's operational requirements. Second, the J-35's production capacity has reached a significantly high level, enabling China to meet export demands. This large-scale export is not accidental. Furthermore, Pakistan's one-time procurement of such a large number of J-35 suggests that this fighter jet may soon be popular in the international market, especially for countries eager to acquire advanced fighter jets. The J-35 is clearly an attractive option. Unlike the J-20 stealth fighter, the J-35 series stealth aircraft has, since its inception, been tasked with entering the overseas market. Currently, the J-35 is one of only 2 stealth multi-role fighters globally accessible to buyers, the other being the F-35 developed by America's Lockheed Martin. The J-35A variant, as an important model, features an advanced aerodynamic design and wings optimized and improved multiple times, giving it excellent air superiority. It can not only achieve air superiority, but also boasts strong ground attack and anti-ship capabilities, truly a multi-role fighter, similar to the J-16, with high operational flexibility. The naval version, J-35B, is specifically designed for aircraft carrier operations, with catapult launch and arresto wire recovery capabilities and foldable wings, greatly improving maneuverability and storage efficiency. The J-35B will likely be deployed on China's latest Type 03 aircraft carrier. Both the J-35A and J-35B are equipped with advanced engine systems, including the WS-13 and WS-19. This significantly enhances China's long-range projection capabilities, especially in containing US maritime hegemony in the Western Pacific, holding very important strategic significance. Some netizens have questioned whether providing 40 J-35 fighters to Pakistan is premature. Indeed, the Chinese Air Force needs such weapons. We need a high-low mix and to form a dual stealth capability with the J-20. But is it too early to export J-35s to a friendly nation if we ourselves cannot yet widely deploy them? Our answer is, the earlier, the better. Firstly, exporting J-35 fighters to Pakistan can help gain real combat experience. After all, a weapon's performance on the firing range or in normal training is just a peacetime score. We need wartime scores more. The likelihood of India-Pakistan air combat, including military tension and confrontation, is high. If another air battle erupts between them, it would be a golden opportunity for weapons testing. If the J-35 fighter can form a new iron triangle relationship with the KJ-50 early warning aircraft and HQ-19 surface-to-air missiles, achieving a significant victory in future air combat, it would prove that our J-35 design philosophy is correct. Just like the J-10C using Place series missiles to shoot down Rafales, having sufficient technological advantage validates whether the previous technological path was correct. This cannot be bought with money or obtained through other means. It can only be acquired by letting this fighter demonstrate its full capabilities in a real battlefield environment to collect genuine data. Secondly, our triple iron triangle combination is a first. If the J-35, KJ-500, HQ-19 missiles, and the new PL-17 missiles can form a combined relationship, creating a systemic effect, it will also greatly promote China's own systemic air combat capabilities for self-use. Because the command relationships of data links, including different formation command relationships, are not just about the aircraft platform we see, but more crucially about communication networks and intelligent control. The next step is to implement China's ultra-long-range air combat concept through systemic equipment in Pakistan. Because if a training method lacks immense pressure and a real battlefield environment, the gold content of its training effect, in terms of combat readiness and victory potential, is very low. Only by using a weapon in extreme real combat conditions can we obtain reference directions for future improvements and development. Validation itself is a correction for future equipment development. Pakistan's primary motivation for acquiring the J-35A fighter stems from the threat posed by India's development of fifth-generation aircraft. On May 27 this year, India's Ministry of Defense approved the indigenous Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft and the development plan. Besides possessing existing fifth-generation fighter elements such as stealth, supersonic cruising, supermaneuverability, and information fusion, the AMCA also plans to integrate high-tech capabilities like manned-unmanned teaming, loyal wingman command systems, large UAV swarm collaborative control, and hypersonic airborne weapons. Therefore, Pakistan needs it as soon as possible to maintain its lead over the Indian Air Force. Finally, we can make appropriate adjustments based on the problems exposed by Pakistan's use of the aircraft. Any piece of equipment or product will inevitably encounter issues in its early stages. When Pakistan uses it, after all, it's not us operating it, but others. This increases the probability of problems and malfunctions. This way, we can make targeted adjustments based on usage habits and rules. After Pakistan's use, there should be ample room for improvement and development of the J-35 fighter. Therefore, providing various weapons, especially the J-35 fighter, to Pakistan now is not at all too early. In fact, the earlier, the better. The Paris Air Show just started, and the defense community is already buzzing, not because of a celebrity selfie or a stunning aircraft carrier reveal. Instead, a single image has gone viral. It's of a Pakistani pilot, helmeted and in a flight suit, sitting in the cockpit of a Chinese J-35A stealth fighter, giving a thumbs up. Yes, the legendary fifth-generation stealth fighter. The accompanying caption had only 9 words: Beer's review. Everyone who's used it says it's good. Indonesia initially intended to purchase 42 Chinese J-10C fighters, but then Indian media, Eurasian Times, dropped a bombshell. Turkey's indigenous fifth-generation fighter, the Khan, had successfully snatched the order and a procurement agreement had been signed. However, the Indonesian Ministry of Defense swiftly clarified, denying any signed contract and stating that procurement negotiations were still in their preliminary stages. On June 5, according to Indonesian military sources, the country was conducting a feasibility assessment for the procurement of Chinese-made J-10 fighter jets. This news, once reported, garnered widespread attention in the international military sphere, especially as Indonesia had just signed a letter of intent with France for the purchase of Rafale jets. Indonesian Deputy Minister of Defense, Davanto, clearly stated that buying Chinese J-10 fighters aims to enhance the modernization of the Indonesian Air Force's combat capabilities while also considering cost-effectiveness within the defense budget. By June 11, Indian media's Eurasian Times sensationally claimed that Indonesia had formally signed an agreement to purchase 48 Turkish indigenous fifth-generation Con fighters for $10 billion, marking Turkey's largest ever military export order. The contract reportedly stipulated delivery of all aircraft within 10 years, with the first batch arriving in Jakarta by 2028, and required Turkey to transfer some production technology to Indonesia, allowing for localized manufacturing of components. The Indonesian Air Force's equipment has long been quite diverse, including both American and Russian fighter jets. As the largest and most populous country in Southeast Asia, Indonesia's military development has not matched its status as the region's largest power, particularly its Air Force. Previously, Indonesian Air Force equipment updates consistently lagged, leading to a later, comprehensive introduction of Western fighter jets, including 33 US F-16s, 16 Russian Su-27s, and 30 Su-30s. In 2022, Indonesia signed a large deal with France to acquire 42 Rafale jets. However, Indonesia's fighter jet demand still has a significant shortfall. Specifically, the F-16s procured from the US are older AM, BM, and CD models, with performance significantly inferior to the more advanced F-16V. And even the advanced Su-30MK2 fighters in the Indonesian Air Force are not considered outstanding aircraft by current standards. Therefore, since 2018, Indonesia has been continuously seeking more advanced fighter jets in the international market to ensure that its Air Force system development does not lag behind neighboring countries. Initially, Indonesia eyed Russia's Su-35 and even signed a large order for them. However, due to the rapid deterioration of US-Russia relations and the outbreak of conflict, the US threatened to pressure Indonesia under the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act (COTSA). Indonesia was forced to abandon its plans to purchase Su-35s. Simultaneously, the US seized the opportunity to promote its F-15EX fighter to Indonesia. Frankly, the F-15EX, as the only US Air Force fighter capable of rivaling the J-16 in its class, is technologically undisputed and the most advanced variant of the F-15 family. Indonesia had at one point expressed interest in the F-15EX. However, the problem is that Americans, when selling weapons, always aim for the highest price, and the F-15EX was no exception. While the US military itself pays $120 million per aircraft, the selling price to Indonesia was a staggering $200–300 million per unit. Given that Indonesia's 2025 defense budget is merely $10.6 billion, such exorbitant prices were simply unacceptable to Indonesia. Thus, the acquisition of the F-15EX has long been indefinitely shelved by Indonesia. Ultimately, Indonesia's choice was the Rafale fighter. In 2022, Indonesia signed an agreement with France to order 42 Rafale fighter jets for $8.1 billion, with the first 6 expected to be delivered in 2026. In late May of this year, French President Emmanuel Macron visited Indonesia, and the two sides again signed a letter of intent for the Rafale deal. Indonesia also expressed its intention to purchase around 12 more Rafale fighters. However, during this period, something unexpected happened. In the India-Pakistan air conflict, 3 Rafale jets were successively shot down by J-10Cs. This outcome shocked the world and consequently boosted a surge in demand for Chinese weaponry. Azerbaijan announced an increase in its purchase of J-F-17 Block 3 fighters, and Uzbekistan, Egypt, and Bangladesh are all evaluating the possibility of procuring J-10Cs. The excellent combat results of the J-10C naturally caught the attention of the Indonesian military, especially since Indonesia had just heavily invested in 42 Rafale jets. Faced with the J-10C, which proved far superior to the Rafale, they had to take notice. Moreover, it's top-tier equipment that's easily available, making it tempting. Why the J-10C is a game-changer for Indonesia? Indonesian Deputy Minister of Defense Devanto stated that the Chinese J-10 fighters' performance in the India-Pakistan conflict was one of the key factors for Indonesia considering the aircraft type. In that conflict, the J-10 fighter, with its advanced avionics, powerful weapon-carrying capacity, and excellent maneuverability, shot down 3 Rafale fighters, demonstrating outstanding combat performance. It can quickly lock onto targets accurately strike enemy key facilities, and maintain stable combat effectiveness even in complex electromagnetic environments. This outstanding performance in actual conflict showed Indonesia the J-10 fighter's practical value. Compared to Western counterparts, the J-10 is not only more competitively priced, but also has technical specifications that fully meet Indonesia's demand for high-value, advanced equipment. The J-10C fighter, as the export version of the J-10C, features advanced ESA radar, multi-purpose weapon carrying capabilities, and excellent beyond visual range combat capabilities. For the Indonesian Air Force, introducing the J-10C will greatly enhance its air combat and ground strike capabilities. In air combat, the J-10C's advanced radar system can detect and lock onto enemy fighters earlier, and its equipped advanced air-to-air missiles offer high hit rates and long range, giving it an advantage in aerial combat. In ground strike, the J-10C can carry various precision-guided weapons for accurate strikes on ground targets, effectively improving the Indonesian Air Force's ability to hit ground targets. Furthermore, the introduction of the J-10C will also promote exchange and cooperation between the Indonesian Air Force and advanced fighter jets from other countries, enhancing Indonesia's overall air combat philosophy and tactical level. Another crucial factor is the J-10C's outstanding cost-effectiveness, which is extremely attractive to Indonesia. With a single unit procurement price of approximately $65 million, only China can sell high-end weapon systems at such affordable prices worldwide. This is why Indonesia is considering procuring a large fleet of 42 aircraft. As long as the unit price is low, large-scale procurement is entirely possible. In the future, it can also form a high-low mix with the Rafales delivered to the Indonesian Air Force. More importantly, China's arms sales have a good tradition, no any political conditions. This is hugely attractive to many developing countries suffering from Western human rights rhetoric and value imposition. Business is business, clean and straightforward. Who wouldn't prefer that? Besides price and no strings attached, China's military-industrial complex offers a sincere after-sales gift package, including pilot training, ground crew maintenance and support, data link integration, and even, in some cases, partial technology transfer. It's a complete turnkey project. This strategy of high configuration, not high price, with service delivered to your door is gradually changing the rules of the international arms trade market. Previously, countries could only buy what Western nations produced, with core technologies being closely guarded. Now China offers a new possibility. Not only can you acquire advanced equipment, but you also have the opportunity to enhance your own national defense industrial level. Debunking the Turkish con rumor, J-10C likely choice. As for the Indian media's Eurasian Times claim that Turkey intercepted Indonesia's J-10C order, it is even more baseless. The Indonesian Ministry of Defense spokesperson has explicitly denied such rumors, stating that no formal agreement has been signed with Turkey and that discussions are only in the early stages. Turkey claims its domestically developed fifth-generation fighter, the Khan, possesses stealth capabilities, ESA radar, and supersonic cruising, aiming to be a competitor to the F-35. However, Turkey has historically never independently developed or manufactured any well-known aircraft. Yet, in 2024, it supposedly leapfrogged to produce a prototype of the Khan fighter, which made its maiden flight. Just based on its appearance, the Khan fighter indeed resembles the American F-2, at least the exterior looks like a fifth-generation aircraft. But Turkey has only built one prototype so far, and when it will complete testing and transition to mass production remains undecided. It's worth noting that Turkey's Khan fighter has not yet undergone essential wind tunnel tests. The reason? Turkey lacks the funds for wind tunnel testing. Not only that, but core fighter subsystems still rely on Western suppliers. Its aircraft manufacturing craftsmanship, especially its stealth design configuration, is highly controversial. It can only be called and assembled for 0.5-generation aircraft, falling short of 5th-generation standards. It's highly unlikely that Indonesia would procure it. Their hope for future 5th-generation fighter is the KF-21 project being developed with South Korea, a fact which Indonesian officials have repeatedly confirmed. In conclusion, the Indian media's claim of Turkey intercepting the J-10C order is simply not true. As for the competition among 5 nations' fighter jets for the same Indonesian client, US media reported that Indonesia's acquisition projects for US and Russian fighter jets have been cancelled. French Rafales were previously acquired, and Indonesian officials have also denied the possibility of acquiring Con fighters. This leaves only the J-10C. It is highly probable that the Indonesian government will procure the J-10C. That's all for today's program. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your clicks mean a lot to me. See you next time.